Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I've been saying this for a long time, and I think one day this will be achieved by Russia. Well, achieved, that's a positive for Russia, I think, but a negative for the free world. And that is, Russians will probably deploy, or at least threaten to deploy, but threats don't work anymore. They have to really do it to have the others to catch the attention of the other side, because the other side is just deluded, delusional. That is just not focused on telling them, hey, I'm going to do this. You can look at whatever happened in Ukraine and the same. Oh, you're not going to do it. Okay. So I'm talking about deploying missiles in, and I have in South America, or at least around the United States of America, and because that's the epicenter of the forces of good on this planet. And that is, I have three candidates: Venezuela, Nicaragua, and Cuba. These are the main. There are some other, partners, but these three ones, I think, are the main ones. And Lavrov visits now Venezuela after he visited Brazil, and the Americans were all apoplectic. They had mini strokes. Because of that, the Brazilians said bye-bye, and they met Lavrov, foreign minister, discussed certain things regarding BRICS and others. So now Lavrov stopped in Venezuela, and that's very bad. If you remember, the American government allowed one company to do business with Venezuela, American company, obviously in the oil industry, in order to make sure that it's a steady supply of oil from Venezuela to whomever the Americans allow the Venezuelans to sell their oil to. That's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So anyway, we have Lavrov, and he goes over there and he makes some statements, very important statements. And I think all that will culminate to, hey, how about we bring some tubes here? And I think that Maduro will say, hey, if the Americans are behaving as they are and threaten us and keeps the sanctions on, we might consider that. Well, let's see if they're there yet. I have two articles, one coming from the Free Press of Associated Press, the true press, and the other one from, obviously, the bad guys, Sputnik, all right? So Associated Press, this is where you have to pay attention, the Free Press right here, by Regina Garcia Cano. Today being the April 19th of 2023. Russian foreign minister visits Venezuela, offers support. This is Lavrov. When we're gonna not have Lavrov anymore, I think we lost a intelligent and very charismatic and very knowledgeable diplomat. Unfortunately, he's on the wrong side. He's not with us, with the free world. Anyway, Caracas, Venezuela. Russia and Venezuela reviewed some of their hundreds of bilateral agreements covering the financial, energy, agriculture, and other sectors during discussions between their top diplomats and other high-level officials Tuesday in the South American country. Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov and his Venezuelan counterpart, Ivan Gil, that doesn't sound very well for the Americans, so he's an Ivan, held a joint press conference in Caracas hours after the former arrived in the country in the second stop of a tour of 4 Latin American nations. Both men vowed continued support for each other's country and condemned the economic sanctions Washington has imposed on them. And I'm quoting, "We fully support the position of our Venezuelan friends," Lavrov said, and I'm quoting, "It is their country and we are going to support it in any way so that the Venezuelan economy becomes an independent economy from the pressures of the United States and other Western actors." So this is what they say here, and I'm going to jump from the free media to not so free media, right, to Sputnik. So Sputnik says that Lavrov says that Moscow put all efforts to have Caracas economy not depend on U.S. sanctions. Here they are. All right. Russia will put all efforts to help Venezuela's economy become less dependent on the, and I'm quoting, whims and the geopolitical games, end quote, of the United States, and it will benefit from Russia's experience. Now, experience, you're going to find out what that experience is and with what. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said on Tuesday, and I'm quoting, "We will do everything we can to make Venezuela's economy less and less dependent on the whims of geopolitical games of the US or any other actors from the Western camp. And I am convinced that our experience will come in handy for our Venezuelan friends because we are now the world champion in number of sanctions and we are gaining experience quickly," end quote. Lavrov told the briefing after talks with Venezuelan Foreign Minister Ivan Gil Pinto, or Gil. I don't know. So yes, they are the world champion in the number of sanctions, and we are gaining experience quickly. He's got a sense of humor. And I'm quoting, "It is their country, Venezuela. It is their hydrocarbons. It is their economy, which is subject to the strongest illegal sanctions. They have to decide for themselves how to keep working, how to keep developing their state," the minister said. And in return, what do you think he wants? I'm talking about Lavrov. Lavrov noted that Russia and Venezuela agreed to enhance cooperation in the field of new technologies, oil production, and the development of gas fields. That's all. They just want that and nothing else. And we have numerous projects, I'm quoting, planned in the fields of oil production, development of gas fields, agriculture, medicine, and pharmaceuticals, communication, space, and new technology. We will increase the volume and pace of cooperation in all these areas and will continue to make active use of the existing mechanism for this purpose, including the high-level intergovernmental commission, end quote, the Russian foreign minister said. So that's they say it's just economic here. Moscow and Caracas have advanced in the development of a system of exchange of financial messages bypassing SWIFT and the use of Russia's MIR payment system in Venezuela, the Venezuelan foreign minister told the joint conference. So they will work on the SWIFT, to get rid of it and join MIR. That means they will be independent from sanctions from the free world, but they will be sanctioned by the Russians because they are bad. Two central banks, Russia and Venezuelan, are working on it as well as on MIR cards, which will allow Russian tourists to pay directly in Venezuela bypassing large multinational corporations. So that's good for these two countries, I'm guessing. Lavrov has since invited Pinto to visit Russia, and I am sincerely grateful for our meeting. I invited the minister to visit the Russian Federation at a convenient time for him, Lavrov said in a news conference. The Russian foreign minister is presently on a tour of Latin America on April 17 to 21, during which he is visiting Brazil, Venezuela, Nicaragua, and Cuba. I didn't read the articles, my friends, and I knew who the suspects were: Venezuela, Nicaragua, and Cuba. And I'm waiting. They don't have to trumpet it because I think the Russians figured out that talking, whenever they say something, say, hey guys, this could lead to that, the Western mass media and some weasels in charge of governments in the West are just dismissing that like a toddler talks. And that's a mistake. That's a mistake because Russia is not a toddler. But if you pretend that you treat Russia as a toddler, then you're going to miss the point. And when you're going to miss the point, you don't know where the point is going to come and hit you back in the back of your head because you didn't pay attention. So that's happened, for instance, in other parts of the world when the toddler, Russia, said, hey guys, we have a problem here. I have a problem. Let's discuss the problem. And if I have a problem, you're going to have a problem. Get out of here. Get out. Man, we have to react. We're going to react. We're going to do this. Get out of here. And after they did it, what happened? I don't think it was that way because I think they knew that that would be the next step. They were just like, yeah. You're kind of late, so come on. Are you going to do it or not? Do it. I dare you. Triple dare you. I think that's how it was in a funnier way. But it's not funny because a country is destroyed. Nations are mowed and economies are up, we see the consequences of those actions and sanctions. Because if the Russians would have fought, let's say, Romania, or they would fought, I'm just saying Romania, even though Romania is a NATO member state, but let's say they would have, and let's use this one, they fight Ukraine, that didn't have to affect us at all in any way, but that could have been prevented. That's my big problem. That could have been prevented, and I think, I assess, based on the information I have, historical events that occurred, that all this was could have been preventable, but I think it was pushed, and they hoped that Russia, if Russia does what it does, they will just kneel it, bend it over, and then they will go next to get China and take care of China. So Russia is a kind of, for a lot of countries, it's kind of a, I don't want to say hope, that would be a wrong, but they're waiting. If Russia doesn't collapse, that's going to give for the bad countries an alternative. You know, like the pirates. The pirates had their little place, certain places, certain villages, towns, islands where they would converge, and they will have all kind of parties and blah blah blah. They were settle scores, if you know what I mean. And that's kind of like is going to be the Russians and the Chinese and all that. I'm making this so YouTube is going to be nice to me. I cover my tail, my marks, you know, because that's how one of my bosses, especially, used to tell me, cover your tail, cover your... But that's really... Okay, yeah. And that means you're a scaredy cat. You're a coward. Sometimes you have to, if you know what I mean. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.